neighborhood, the problem is there are no open spaces. Don't redo the streetlights, spend the money in refurbishing the open space. So it's also about voice and agency. So the first important strand in India needs to be participatory governance in our cities, where you establish trust between citizens and elected representatives and ward level officials to strengthen democracy at the grassroots. Let's not forget that this is not just about civic problems. It is not just about streetlights, broken roads, potholes, etc., garbage, and so on. This is also about public health. The COVID-19 has revealed the very sad state of primary healthcare in our country, right? And primary healthcare has to be delivered in neighborhoods. And when there are pandemics, when you want to do mass awareness, when you want to enforce quarantine behaviors, when you want to assuage people about vaccination and its side effects, etc., you need first mile infrastructure. People keep calling it last mile. In my view, this is first mile because this is where the citizen lives. So you need this kind of first mile infrastructure. So participatory governance is not a nice to have, it is a must have, and it has something to do with public health. It has something to do with climate change, because if you, of course, you need at every level, at the union level, state level, and at the city and neighborhood level, there are policies that are required and there are practices that are required. And many of these challenges are global in their character, but solutioning will have to happen locally. If you need people to transit from private vehicles to public transport, you need to give them first mile access and last mile access. First mile access where they live, last mile access where they work or play, and vice versa. So unless you listen to them about what prevents them from taking the metro or the bus, is it a safety issue? Is it an issue that they're not able to walk? Is it that there are stray dogs? Or is it that buses are not coming on time? You will never be able to figure this out, and you will spend 50,000 crores on building the metro, but usage will continue to remain poor. Similarly, on open spaces, there is adequate evidence to say that in cities in India, construction is happening at such a rapid pace that there are no open spaces in neighborhoods, and it is becoming a public health disaster. You'll be surprised that during Obama's first term, and that person has now come back. Vivek Murthy is his name. Is a person of Indian descent. He was the Surgeon General of the United States. He was a health professional. He is the one who gave out a call for walkable cities, saying that if you don't have walkable cities, people will not walk and exercise, and that will create a pandemic situation with respect to lifestyle diseases like diabetes. So this is key for climate change, local action. This is key for migrant welfare, etc. Water and sanitation, water conservation, for example, rainwater harvesting, in which India has done terribly. On one hand, we have floods in our cities. On the other hand, we also have water shortages. Our groundwater tables are depleting. Completely avoidable if there is local action. So participatory governance is the first intervention. The second intervention is state capacities. It has become a popular phrase in the recent past, but it is slightly nuanced. India has a human resource disaster as far as state capacities are concerned. Some professor told me once that the total number of government employees in the US is greater than the total number of government employees in India. Can you imagine? It's a country that has 1/4 our population. It is a country that is significantly more developed economically and technologically. Yet they have more people working in government than India. India has a problem of short staffing in governments, contrary to popular belief that Sarkari offices are full of people who do nothing. It is equally true that there is a lopsided organization design where you may have excessive staff at grade C and grade D levels, which are the lower levels without fungible skill sets, clerks and paper pushers and so on, who you are not able to redeploy to other tasks. But you have a shortage of senior and mid management in grade A and grade B. This problem is acute in cities. I'll give you two comparisons. It is not like to like, but it'll give you a sense of how bad the situation is. New York City has a population of about 8.5 million people. Bengaluru, or you can even take Ahmedabad. Bangalore has more than 10 million. Ahmedabad is about 8 million. New York City has 400,000 people working in the city government. 4 lakh people. You know how many people Bangalore municipality has? 30,000. Can you imagine? They have 4 lakh people. We have 30,000 people in Bangalore. With somewhat similar population, Bangalore is higher. Of course, the New York City government also looks at police, trains, metro, etc. But even if you add the Bangalore Metro and the Water Authority and the Development Authority and the police, etc., you will not even be half the strength of New York City. Ideally, and New York City already has significantly better quality of life, right? And they have significantly higher levels of taxation, greater economic growth, and therefore they're able to get more revenues and all of that. It's not the case with India's cities. And this is true of all cities in India, without any exception. So the second piece on state capacities is quite important. But